Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Gunpla TV. This is episode number 296, and I am once again joined by...
Me.
Welcome back, Scott.
Hi, Scott Hards, CEO and founder of HobbyLink Japan.
Right, and the big boss.
I love and a Gunpla TV host now, which is probably the best part of my job.
Right, this is like the funnest part of the week.
Yep.
The one time that we really get to sit here and talk about new models.
Yes, the reason I started this company in the first place. Yes, to talk about models.
And that's what we get to do today. And we get to talk about new models that just came in today, hot off the truck.
It says Sinanju on it. I'm interested, Todd.
It
because
does
I'm
say
into
Sinanju, and I've been looking forward to this one. This is probably one of the ones I've been looking forward to most this month. This is the brand new narrative, Sinanju Stein. And what's new about this one is previously before in the HG series, we never actually had a Stein release.
Okay.
We had a regular Sinanju release, and then we've had the real grade.
Been there, done that. Yeah, I love that kit.
And there was a master grade Stein, but never the Stein never made its way to the HG line. So I'm excited to have finally the Stein in the HG line. And this is not just a regular Stein too. Now he's got sleeves, so he's got those fancy
sleeves. He's
got the sleeves. He's got those fancy extra
tattoos.
It's kind of like a tattoo, like a little wrist guard band. That looks really cool. Okay. I took a peek in this box, of course, like once I got it into my hands. And one thing I noticed right off the bat was it doesn't actually share a lot of runners with the old Sinanju kit.
Really?
There was one runner I noted still had 2010 marked on the back of the runner, and that's when the original Stein, original
real forensic-y on
Sinanju kit came out. Well, I know a lot of people, they like new kits, and so basically pretty much this entire kit looks new to me. Everything, all of the runners except for one was marked as 2018. So a lot of new stuff to look forward to.
Digressing just a moment, you know, every single this is a industry geek talking now. Every one of these Bandai kits, every one of these plastic model runners that you see in one of these boxes has got like a 300-pound piece of steel somewhere related to it. Right. Okay, there's a big, heavy, the really big runners. You know, those things can weigh like up to 300-400 kilograms, even a ton for especially large parts. Every one of those runners, there's literally like tons of steel for.
Right.
Where in the world do they store it all? I have no idea how Bandai can manage all of these toolings.
Have you ever seen the video of the factory?
I briefly, yeah. They've got like underfloor storage or something.
They store it in the floorboards. So they have like removable floorboards, and they have special suction cups that pick up those boards, and they can just grab the tooling.
You could probably melt them down and build a first-class navy with the amount of steel, that Bandai has used for tooling.
Right, and they keep making new tooling. Yeah. So that's a good question. Like, you only have so much space in one factory. They must have like outside storage facility just for tooling.
I'm sure they do. But we digress. Sorry.
Right. But speaking of other new toolings that just came in, well, this one actually isn't a completely new tooling. This one only has a couple of new parts. This kit was originally released last year as part of their new Full Metal Panic lineup. Okay. But now this is the... Am I going to say this right? The Laevatein
version 4.
The Laevatein version 4. So we've got like a new helmet, I think new shoulders from the previous version. So I built the previous release of this kit without these new parts. So maybe we can take a look and see what's new with this one as well. So that's it for the new hobby releases that came in for this week.
What do we got this week, Todd?
All right, so let's start off with what you have done. So I see Godzilla is back.
There he is. Yeah, Mechagodzilla's back. Some viewers may recall from a couple episodes ago that I promised I would show off some finishing techniques with Mechagodzilla, and I've done that. Let me just grab him here.
Sure.
Come on, big guy. Let's go. All right. So what I've done with Mechagodzilla is two incredibly simple, basic finishing techniques that everybody should learn because they're tons of fun. Dry brushing and washing. Okay. And so because of all the, the little bumps and, nooks and crannies on this thing, it's really a perfect kit to do these kinds of finishing techniques. Plus, he's a weapon, right? You want to make it look like he's had a little battle going on him. So what I've done is a very simple enamel wash and a very simple silver dry brush to kind of liven it up, make him a little bit, more used looking. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. And you know, on video, it's not going to probably look totally different than it did, you know, a couple of weeks ago. But what I'm going to show you here is two, again, very, very simple techniques. We'll start with the enamel wash that I did. And this is like, you know, the simplest things you can do in finishing. You know, there are guys who go crazy with weathering and finishing, and they're way, way beyond anything I could possibly do. But I do know some of the basics, and I'd like to share them with some of our viewers right now. So let's start out by taking a look at the enamel wash I did on Godzilla. Okay, what we're going to do here is just a simple enamel wash using just black enamel and enamel thinner. This is really finishing 101. It's super easy. Just take a very small amount of the black enamel, put it into a little dish of some kind. And then what you're going to want to do is thin it out with tons of the thinner. I mean, not just thin it a little bit. I mean, thin it out. We're basically making kind of colored thinner here rather than paint. The consistency should basically be water. Now this Mechagodzilla model has a lot of areas that are going to look great with a wash in it. All these little, you know, grooves in his face, these little round, whatever they are, these grills here, these air intakey sort of things here. You know, all kinds of detail here that's going to look great. And you just dab the brush in the fluid and then touch it to the model. You're not really even painting it on in the sense of strokes, because what happens is this is so water-like that when you just touch it to the surface of the model, capillary action is going to cause the liquid to basically leap off the brush and onto the model. So sometimes, in fact, most of the time, unless there's ridges around something, things may flow into areas you weren't intending it to go. But never fear. It is so easy to take this stuff back off, and we'll show how we do that later. So any mistakes you make while you're doing this can super easily be corrected. So absolutely have no fear. Go for it. Try some things, and if it doesn't work out, you can fix it. No, see, that's a big black thing here. But remember, this is like water, and this stuff doesn't dry quickly. That's one of the other nice things about enamels, is they dry very slowly. So you can just go back over it and fix it, make it look like what you want it to look like. Now, there's a lot of places on this, like I was saying, that look really good with these washes, especially these big intakes under his chest here. We'll just dab some into there.
Really adds some extra depth to that too.
Yeah, it really does bring out the dimensions, or the highlights and the shadows of the model, particularly when you've got all this kind of mechanical detail on something like this. Some other areas that look great. The bottom of the feet. Check it out. They had so much detail on the bottom of his feet. Of course, you're not going to usually see this. But Aoshima didn't screw around here. They made some nice detail on the bottom of his feet, and these grooves and little round whatever they are really hold the wash quite nicely. And this just, you know, again, it brings out the detail and also gives the item a more weathered or used kind of appearance.
You really see it flow into those lines there on the front.
It's and this is really fun. You know, I always look forward to doing a wash on my models, particularly if I'm doing like an aircraft or a tank or something I'm trying to give a used appearance, not factory fresh appearance, but whatever. You know, even his hands here, you know, have these little ridges on the inside. I thought, yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, just put some of that right in there. And, you know, I totally spent like, what, maybe 15 minutes doing this, if that. It's so easy. There's no reason anybody shouldn't just give this a try if you've never broken out paints before. And you don't have to limit what you're doing to like ridges or grooves. You can just do it on a flat surface like I'm doing here on the inside of the leg, just to give the whole thing kind of a more, you know, used or a little bit dirtied up appearance.
But an oily look to it.
Now, again, you don't have to worry about if you get stuff in the wrong place like this. You just put some thinner on a tissue or perhaps a Q-tip. I'm doing his nose here. If you decide you just had too much or you didn't want it there after all, you can literally just wipe it off, and it will come back off as if it had never been there. It's that easy. So it's really a great technique, and I encourage everybody to give it. So that is how you do a simple enamel wash.
Okay.
Now, enamel paints, I think, are pretty much available everywhere.
They are. We can't ship those, of course, from HLJ due to due to postal laws and that kind of stuff. But what we can ship to you guys, and we have available on our site, are Gundam markers. And Gundam markers do have a kind of similar product that will give you like a similar type of thing where you just kind of tap the tip of the marker and it uses that same capillary motion to kind of flow into the lines.
Right.
So that is something also that is available if you don't have access to enamel washes. Though trying enamel washes would be recommended if you guys have access to that. It's worth a try.
Yeah. Other brands that you can probably find overseas, of course, there's in the United States, there's Testors.
And
then there's always Humbrol. Humbrol enamels are, of course, one of the best brands.
Right, if you were in England or Europe.
Yeah, but these are... But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun. You know, I'm kind of looking at this again now in different lighting, and it's fun to see all the, you know, the effects that look like dirt and wear and stuff going here.
He's been through some battles now, maybe.
Yeah, so a lot of fun. Now, the other thing I did, though, was some dry brushing, as I mentioned, to bring out some of the metallic look on the gun pack here, and also to make things a little bit more worn. Let's take a look at how I did that. So to do dry brushing, which is going to help bring out highlights in the model, what you want is a brush for dry brushing. Now, I've taken an old flat brush that I had, or a veteran, and I'm getting out my art knife, and yes, oh my god, I'm going to chop it right off. Junk. We're beheading the brush to chop it down to these nice, short, stiff little bristles. Because for dry brushing, you want a relatively stiff little brush like this. So I just chopped it off, and now I'm going to take the same metallic paint that I painted the body of Mechagodzilla with, and use that for my dry brushing. Now, we're almost out of paint here, I'm afraid, but we've still got enough to do dry brushing.
Oh, wow, yeah, that jar looks quite empty.
Yeah, now they call it dry brushing because you're basically painting with almost no paint on the brush. Now, it's very hard to not put paint on a brush, so instead you put paint on the brush, and then you take it back off like this. Just a sheet of paper I put down here to wipe on. And then once you've got almost no color coming off the brush, you just lightly scrape it across the elevated portions of the surface of the model, like corners or ridges or just little, doodads, whatever these things are that are sticking up here. And it gives, things that makes them look a little bit more metallic. It makes them look worn, because edges and corners tend to lose their finish first. And the most important thing to do here is to have fun, because I'm having a lot of fun doing this. It's just almost like, scribbling on the surface of your model, just having fun, making it look a little bit more used or battle worn here. And now this, I do have to caution you, we're using a lacquer here, and lacquers don't come off nearly as easily as enamels do. In fact, if you have other coats of paint already on the model, and you put a lacquer dry brush on, you really are going to have to stick with what you get, because the thinner will take off lower coats of paint, and if you expose the plastic to it for too long, you can actually weaken the plastic. So you don't want to do that. So you just do it really, really super light to make sure that you're going to be happy with the results. Again, for a wash like we were doing before, you want a color that's darker usually than the main color of the object, and for a dry brush, you want a lighter color.
Oh, okay.
So again, these are super, super basic finishing techniques that really can make a model look great with almost no effort. I spent well under an hour for both of these tasks.
Oh, and it really added a lot to it.
Yep. It's just go for it. Your
this
heart's
is straight
content.
onto the plastic. There's nothing painted there.
Yep, that's just the raw plastic. There's no base coat here, but it really goes a long way to making it look a little less toy-like. So that's how you do a dry brush.
Looks great.
Nothing to it. I really can't, stress more than I'd love to see a lot of people go out and try these simple techniques if you've never done it before. There's nothing scary here. For the most part, you can take it back off if you screw it up. And it's fun. It's lots of fun. So, and you can really make your models look great with doing it. So yeah, absolutely no fear. Have no fear. Go for it. Take a step up in your model finishing, repertoire.
Yeah. Looks fantastic.
There's I don't know. There's cats over there, and I'm kind of concerned that I'm going to have to talk about them.
Okay, actually, I think you were here when we originally showed the boxes on the episode on the show like a couple weeks ago.
Did, but can I be frank? Can I be frank, Todd?
Sure.
Okay, there's probably some cat lovers, and I like cats. There's probably some cat lovers who are just like, yes, Neko Busou, this is the greatest thing ever. I am not one of those. I'm not one of those people. I'm just kind of looking at this and going, WTF.
Yeah, this is really fun. This is just exciting. And I have to wonder, who's sitting there at Bandai with, getting paid to come up with these ideas.
Yeah. The reason I'm saying these things is because, I think them for real, and also because I don't want people to change the video at this point or turn it off because, just because they're not into Neko Busou. But yeah, this is totally Japan weird on steroids going right here. You walk around Japan sometimes, like shopping centers or, big electronic shops, and they'll have these, the gashapon machines, these rows of gashapon machines. And you see sometimes just the strangest things in those things.
Those gashapon designers come up with some of the weirdest
I think the weirdest one I ever saw was deep fried sharks. It was like sharks, like a hammerhead shark and a great white shark and a couple other types of shark. But they looked like they were mini and had been deep fried. Okay, whatever.
Sounds
Go
delicious.
figure. Collect all 5. That was the way it was.
Plus a special secret color. There's a blue deep fried shark in there somewhere.
But this looks like, I don't know, maybe somebody at Bandai was trying to fill a product development quota. I don't know. But I'm sorry, I know some people love them. Go for it.
Yeah, okay, so...
Give us your cat enthusiasm, Todd.
So, yes, Neko Busou. So this line just came out. I think it was actually at the very end of last month, although I was kind of wondering maybe they would just be gone so fast that I wouldn't be able to cover it on this show, because if it's gone, like Lindsay has mentioned before, we can't cover it on the show. But we still have plenty of stock of these guys available. So if you guys are interested in getting your own little tanky cats, then we still have them on the site. Now, I mean, these things are just kind of, just like, yeah, just as we were saying, they're just completely wacky.
Sorry, I'm trying to be professional here. This is so hard.
But I was a bit surprised. I was expecting it to be more just pull it out of the box and bam, here you have it. But actually, there's mini runners in the box. So you're going to need to have your nippers, and you're going to need to cut off this stuff, cut off the parts. You have to put them together on your own. So there's a little bit of work that you have to do, but they really look cool. Now, each of these cats does have different, all of the different boxes have a different cat to them.
These things are really crazy, though.
Yeah, they are. Actually, let's move on to the close-up before we really get into talking about these things.
Yeah, it looks like you can do a lot of stuff with all these little parts and things.
Yes, you can. All right, so here we have the Neko Busou lineup. I managed to fit them all on the rotating turntable. And
Todd, it looks like
really
looks like a pile of rubble. It doesn't even look like
a pile of rubble of cats. Tanky cats with magical weapons and doodads and gizmos and...
Have you got those little spring-launched missiles or anything? Or,
you know,
those got banned.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would... Although, would it be banned in Japan? That's something that maybe they would ban, like, overseas. But, like, a lot of stuff that's banned in, like, America, sometimes I'll see it here in Japan and like, wow, I remember that from my youth.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just going to grab one of these here and try to experience the joy that is Neko Busou. Help me out here.
Okay.
Where's the joy here?
The joy is, this is just pure silly fun. I mean, if you like tanks, maybe you like cats, this is like the only combination.
I will admit, there's been a dearth of product that has, explored the cat tank space previously. So I can just stick stuff wherever I want.
Yeah, right? you'll notice that. Let me pull off this other one that's like the similar type of layout. So you'll notice on these box, the little cat houses, that there are numerous holes around the side and actually on the top as well. So you can actually kind of just mix and match these little armor pieces that come with the kits as much as you want.
I gotta get this thing out here.
And I have all of these built just exactly as they were shown on the box, just because that's how it shows on the box, just to give everybody that kind of that look. So each of these...
But you can do anything you want.
You can build it.
Battle Cat Legos.
Battle Cat Legos, that's a good way of explaining it. And each one of them, actually there are a couple of different like suggestions. Oh, look, now he's got like legs, he's kind of like walking.
Yeah, this is going to be hard to balance though. But
a little cat walker.
If I worked at it enough, I could probably make it work.
Oh, okay. Well,
on camera it's going to be tough.
Yeah, on camera they can barely see the top of it.
Oh yeah, you got to see. I got little leg action. Here we go. Okay.
So we got two of the cats come in like this lying down sitting position, and then two of the cats come. Let me grab the gray guy here. Come in like a standard sitting position. So the box is a little bit different between the sitting one and this one. So you wouldn't be able to put like the sitting cat into this lying cat box. Actually, this guy here, I used to have a gray cat. His name was Mr. Boogie. Now that I've said that on the internet, his name will live on forever. So 1,000 years from now, researchers will watch this video and be like, wow, there's a guy with a cat named Mr. Boogie.
Maybe what's freaking me out is these cats don't seem like they're in the moment. It's just like they're just like, okay, I'm in my box. Okay, I'm chilling, in the way a cat does. But like, I need a cat like with his hands on the controller or something, like he's driving or he's pushing a firing button or something. This looks like it's just all psycho thought-controlled weaponry.
Maybe Bandai got a good deal on like a bunch of like pre-molded cats and like, hey, what can we do with these cats? I know, let's put some weapons on them. One cool thing also to note about these cats is they've really like gone through the detail of molding even parts that you won't see, like the bottom side of that cat here. Yeah, let's see if I can. Nice. Let me take the tabby over here, and let me see if I can pull out the bottom so you can see that one too. So even the lying down one, they have that extra
proper foot detail.
Proper foot detail on the inside. Now these ones that we've been showing off here, these are all the individual release ones. We have these ones are still available on the site. It comes in a box. You get a set of all of them in the one box. But they also have this one super duper edition set, which is this guy right here.
Tenkomori, which means like everything, or, you know.
Yeah, basically, that is, everything. So I noticed that too when I went ahead and I built this guy. All of the plastic pieces that we saw on these smaller ones, they are also included in this one box. You only get one cat, though, with this one box. But you get all of the different armor pieces.
And
you get
he's
all
in a
of the
different pose. He's in like a standing
that's
pose.
a good point, too.
So we have a third pose type
There
now.
is a third pose, only available with that one. This guy, I don't know, his face was a little bit off to me. He looks quite surprised for some reason.
You know, surprised or not, the face for the scale. See, I mean, we're talking fingertip size here.
Yes.
But the paint job's really nice.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, this stuff is all made in China, but it's a really fantastic.
You know what would make this look even better?
Oh.
An enamel wash and some dry brushing.
You could dry brush a little bit on his nose.
Yeah, or not the cat, but the mecha here.
The
an
mecha.
enamel wash would fill this in really nice.
These parts, they're a bit. I mean, they've got some nice details molded in, but yeah, they could really use some kind of washing and dry brushing. So this is really fun. There's more of these Neko cats. Like the second part of the Neko Busou series is coming out in November. So that's still available to order on our site as well, I believe. So this is just some silly fun stuff. It was fun to build. It didn't take too long. But
stocking stuffer for your cat-loving friend. There you go.
So I mean, they're completely wacky, but they're fun.
Do they have like a lineup of dogs coming to use as enemies or something? Or
there's no dogs in the pipeline that I know of.
There's no anime coming?
There's more cats coming.
There's more cats?
There's at the end of November, not this month, it's not November yet, but at the end of November, I think the second part of these cats.
Really? They should do an anime and have like Andrew Lloyd Webber do the theme song. Yeah. Okay.
That would be. I would watch that.
I would probably watch that. Yes. What do we got over here?
All right, so moving on to the next thing. So we had a request. Somebody really wanted to see us build the Mini-Pla, the Bandai line of Mini-Pla kits. And actually, I've been wanting to cover these things for a while too, but they're a little bit tricky for us to cover because this stuff is kind of not handled by the Bandai Hobby division. This is covered by the Toy division. These guys are actually made in China, so the production's a bit more limited. So once they sell out, that's kind of it. They're gone and like they never ever come back. So, but for this specific one, this is the Ninja Gattai Muteki Shogun.
Ninja Gattai Muteki Shogun. Okay, well,
that's what it says for the English.
He is the big robot. If you're familiar with, of course, Power Rangers / Super Sentai, you'll know exactly what this is. This is the big final robot plus the little robots that go into it from Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger, which was, I think, one of the first samurai / ninja themed Sentais back from, I think it was the mid-90s.
Mid-90s, okay.
And I believe that Kaku Ranger actually did get adapted. Part of it was adapted by Savan in the Power Rangers or Alien Rangers series in the United States, too, at least. Or any other countries where that may have been shown. So if this is looking familiar, that's why. It has been featured in the Power Rangers as well. But I know a little bit about Sentai stuff. I used to watch tons of them with my kids. But I don't know much about this particular robot or plastic model, Todd. Fill me in.
Okay, well, I'm not too familiar with that series, but let's take a look and see how this Mini-Pla kit, and I can kind of give my comparison, because recently I did and now I keep forgetting it off the top of my head, but recently I had the God Mars, so I recently did the God Mars, which is a really similar type thing. So let's see how this Mini-Pla kind of stacks up to that God Mars.
Close-up look.
All right, so here's our close-up of the Mini-Pla line.
Boy, they really went for the samurai Japanese motif on the Kaku Ranger series here, didn't they? I mean, they got like castle stone feet and castle things going, and then the whole ninja theme for the show itself. Wow. I mean, more recently, I was saying I was watching that with my kids. We're having a catastrophe there. And, in recent years, we've had Shinkenger, which was also samurai themed. And then Ninja, which was also a ninja-themed one, as this one was, Ninja Gattai Kaku Ranger.
Right.
But yeah, that's just a little Sentai trivia there for you. So these guys pose, don't they, kind of rudimentarily?
Yeah, they do pose rudimentarily. So this is really going to seem similar to that God Mars that we did from Moderoid, because this is like the identical same type of thing.
Oh, it even has a knee, sort of.
So yes, that's one thing I wanted to mention. One kind of disappointing thing with that God Mars is when they were in the small form, they really didn't have a whole lot of movement and flexibility.
Right.
But actually Bandai, even though this is just like a Mini-Pla thing that you would find in your supermarket, actually you have elbow joints, points on all of these little guys. And for, I think, all of them except for one, I'll show you which one, they all do kind of have like a knee movement, although I don't know. This is weird. This is a bit weird how they move it. It's not like a real knee movement, but I mean, that is there. And actually, that's partly used for the transformation too. So
okay, now I've done it, Todd. I broke it. I don't know how the part goes. I didn't break it, but
it's just popped off.
You got to know what you're doing, and I'm afraid I don't.
No, that's no problem. So this one basically just has, and this is a bit tricky. Whoops, something else just popped off. So this has like a little stick that pops off.
That's easy enough.
Now one thing, actually, this is a good time to mention this too as well. Actually, the parts on these kits are really, really tight. I lost a hand.
It's down there on the...
Okay, let me...
There we go.
Get that hand for him. So yeah, Godmar's had some parts were a bit loose sometimes, and you guys might remember when you saw that video, I think when we had him transformed in that left mode, his whole left hand was kind of just like freewheeling it, going around, but woo boy. Last week, I complained on that Phoenix episode that I got a headache just from building that kit under my light and just having it be so bright. This week, my hands were really hurting after building this kit.
Yeah, I'm getting a sense of here. This is. How did you ever pop this off? Because it feels like it's never
actually,
going back
that's
on.
as good.
There you go.
Oh, you got it actually.
Okay.
Okay.
There it goes.
Yeah, you'll notice I didn't even like pop it this. Oh, did I pop that one all the way in? There was a couple of these arms. Maybe it's this guy. I think this guy. I kind of left him like half hanging off because. Oh yeah, you really have to push hard to get these parts to connect, and that kind of worries me too because we're gonna have to pull those off in a little bit here
because we're gonna make them transform
into the Super Gattai. All right, so these two guys are actually the legs. I think they double as the legs. So let's take a quick look at the guys that are going to end up being the arms. So you notice the feet are a bit different, but they still have like the ability to twist the knee, which is kind of interesting, and their arms. Oh, wait, no. Their arms have this kind of movement, so they don't have the elbows a bit differently than the other guys, so that's a little something. Now, the center of this unit is going to be this red guy right here, and he's going to be our body. Now, he has the ability to bend his arms, but he doesn't actually have the ability to bend his legs here, so they're kind of just stuck in that position. But that's okay. Also, another thing I want to point out on this before we move on to other stuff, you'll notice a lot of different color variations on this kit. There are a lot of stickers. That's a little bird. Here's all of them.
That's going to be the face, isn't it?
That is going to be the face once we get it transformed. Here are a lot of stickers. Now, you'll see here, I actually left this one off. They have all of the faces on these guys are actually painted. So there are some painted pieces on this kit, like the silver here and the chest, the blacks. These are all painted. So they have some painted parts to these kits, but then there also are quite a few stickers that you're going to have to put onto these guys as well.
All right. Well, don't keep us waiting here. I gotta see what this looks like when you
okay, so let's go ahead and go with the transformation.
Do the Gattai for us.
Do the Gattai. Now, I usually don't need to bring these, but these are like scratch-free type thing, so I don't have to worry about scratching them, but I need them to pull off some parts because they're too hard for my fingers. All right, so let's get going here. There we go. Okay. Ta-da. So now we have him here in his giant mode. And we do have some weapons that you can arm him with in this mode. And the best one, of course, is this giant golden sword.
That's badass.
So he's got these kind of interesting looking hands that you just kind of... Yeah, there's a little bit of finger movement. It's like one giant finger. So he can go with that weapon. And then also we have this one here that you can connect, and then you can plug this one into another hand. Or you also have this weapon here too, which is kind of like a giant spiky crossbow type thing. Okay. So that's kind of cool. You get a couple of different weapons to go with. But the fingers hold nice and tight too, which is a bonus.
Which is, of course, once you've got the pose that you wanted, it ain't going anywhere. So There we go.
All right.
Clunk.
And of course, something else pops off. That's just the nature of Gundam kit reviews. His parts falling off. There you go. So he looks really cool, I gotta say.
Oh man, his little spear is like totally out of frame there. That's really long.
That is quite long. So I definitely like the look of this guy in this combined mode compared to like the little individual ones. So definitely I'll be keeping him in this mode. Now, one fun thing about this, being that it is Mini-Pla and that these are actually traditionally sold in Japanese supermarkets in the candy section, is you get candy.
Oh boy.
So, unlike Gundam kits, you get a little extra something to chew on. And included with this kit, I believe there was 5 boxes, so you get 5 candies. This is the last one I have, because last night I just ate the rest.
Oh well.
I ate the rest of them as I was building, but I remembered to keep one just to show you guys. So yeah.
I'm guessing these are very economically priced.
That's not bad.
By the way, your candy is 9 calories. It says
Oh
right
my
there.
goodness.
9 calories.
And it has an expiration date too.
Yeah.
So don't eat this after 2020. But I think, we'll put the link, well, of course, we'll put the link in below, but the pricing wasn't too bad for, I think, for what you get. So it's kind of something fun to build. Now, I just wondered, because the parts were just so tight and a little bit difficult to put together, that these are sold in the candy section for kids to buy. But I'm assuming that out there, a lot of dads are going to be the ones ending up having to put these together. Because really, you definitely need nippers for all of these parts. You cannot twist these parts off of the runners. The cats you could probably get away with, but this one really had really strong, thick connectors to them. So something interesting, so a little bit something to try. So Mini-Pla in the future, would I recommend it for other Mini-Pla type stuff? If you're interested in that suit, then yeah, I definitely would say the Mini-Pla line isn't so bad. It's nice tight connections, and actually it doesn't look too bad once you get it put together. But it is ABS, 100% ABS plastic, which does make it feel a little bit more toy-like. So I guess it depends. You want something fun to play with, then hey.
Yeah, but this is something you're also going to be able to hand to a younger kid without having to, be all panicky that it's going to get completely toasted. So
that is a very good point. So would I recommend it? Sure, it's fun.
Lots of fun.
Fun is good.
All right, thanks, Todd. That was great.
All right, so Mini-Pla. So I gotta say, I mean, it's a bit toy-like, but it's a model kit that you put it together yourself. So that's my
for something to play with on your desk. I'm loath to bring in a really well-finished model or an expensive model to like hang around my desk at the office or something, because somebody's gonna do some horrible thing.
Eventually, it's gonna get knocked over.
Yeah, but guys like this, they're durable to begin with, and in the unlikely event that something does happen to it, you're gonna live. I'm sure. Yeah. Anyhow, we got to move into the comments. Now, if I were, I'm going to go straight into the comments here, if that's okay with you. Can we do that? Okay. If I were a better actor, I would love to recreate my initial reaction to the first comment we got this week, but I can't do it that well. But on October 23rd, 2018 at 12:11 p.m., Bloodnut38 was clever enough to tell us that Todd looks like a Roy Orbison impersonator.
I don't have my sunglasses today, though.
The first time I read this comment, I was just like, laughing my something off. But actually, where's your glasses, man?
I brought in my sunglasses last week, because last week I had that unicorn Gundam, and that thing was just so shiny.
Right.
Oh, it was giving me headaches.
Roy Orbison, of course, I'm sure pretty much everybody knows who Roy Orbison was, the late Roy Orbison. But, of Pretty Woman fame. And
not the movie Pretty Woman, but
the song that created the movie fame. Yeah.
Pretty Woman.
That song. And he was also, I remember in the Traveling Wilburys there for a bit, if I remember my music history correctly. And a lot of people are probably thinking, what the heck are Traveling Wilburys? But
well, maybe somebody out there is
look it up on Wikipedia.
They're Googling it right now.
Yes. Anyhow, so that was our first comment. Thank you, Bloodnut38, for that very entertaining comment. And then we have Cybot, who one day later said, Bandai really should start engineering all their kits with undergates. It gives them the freedom to make special coding releases that won't have unfavorable words spoken with the unsightliness of nub marks.
Right.
Yeah, undergates are a good thing when they're possible. You know, I'm going to guesstimate some things that a plastic engineer might say.
Okay.
Is I'm assuming that undergates, because they're smaller and more awkwardly positioned and cause the plastic to do more, you know, zigzagging as it goes into the model, that undergates are going to require more pressure in order to form the plastic as well as standard type gates. That would probably, I'm going to guess, also go for like, I don't know what they call them, but back when they were doing the Dambol Senki kits, I don't even know what those are called in English, but those little robots about 3 or 4 years ago, they had developed a gate on those so small that you didn't even need to nip them. You could just basically just break it off the plastic.
They still use that, actually.
They still using it? Okay.
The new Haro kits are all like that.
Yeah, what do they have a name for those gates? I don't know.
Just a nipper-free gate?
Nipper-free gate, yeah.
Use your hands?
That's but I would assume that those as well, because, you know, the path that the plastic can flow through is so narrow.
It's really thin. Although I have to say, those I actually am not a big fan of, because even if I try to use nippers on those cuts, I still leave more of a nub mark than I would just normally cutting off plastic.
But yeah, I'm assuming there's some very good engineering reasons behind the plastic flow physics that would cause them to try to not use them when they don't absolutely have to.
Right. I mean, that would be really great. Just like for exterior armor surfaces, like the shoulders. Like last week we showed on that unicorn that we did.
Right.
On the shoulders, just because it was undergated and because it had that really shiny coat, you could really like spot the numbers.
No, and yeah, there's some spots on Godzilla here too. When we were showing the close-ups of him a couple weeks ago, people probably noticed, like on the arm parts there and around the base of the neck, where there are some pretty obvious, you know, gate leftovers. And it would have been great if they had been able to use undergates or had used undergates there to keep those a little less obvious. But you know, that's what you get with plastic model technology and state of the art, I guess. But yeah, I think we're all on the same page with you there, Cybot. Thank you for that comment.
Yes, indeed. Okay. And with that said, I think it's time for
money. Giving away free money.
Giveaway.
2,000 yen will be given away for free to some lucky winner, and it is.
That goes to comment number 14. Okay, and this is from Kai to Kai.
Kai to Kai.
And they simply say, "Great, thank you." I mean, that's all you need.
Right to the point. Okay, this just proves that we're not picking our winners based on what they wrote.
Nope.
So, great.
It's
thank
random,
you.
so.
Well, great. You're welcome.
You are welcome, Kai to Kai, and we'll be contacting you.
Proud winner of 2,000 yen in store credit here at HobbyLink Japan.
I'll be contacting you shortly on HobbyLink.tv. All right, so if you guys out there would also like to win 2,000 yen HobbyLink Japan store credit, all you need to do is go to HobbyLink.tv, find episode number 296, and post a comment as simple as, "Great, thank you." That's all you need.
Just 4 to go before the big 300.
That's coming up. It's coming up
I saw some
soon.
traffic on our Slack network here about ideas and plans for that. It looks like it's going to be very special, folks.
Some stuff cooking, so hopefully some people out there will be pleased. We'll have to see.
Hope so.
But that's coming up soon, very soon. Oh my goodness. And so is the end of the year and Christmas shopping. Christmas season is coming up, so you need to get started on Gundam gifts for your wife and girlfriends. And here, honey, here's a Sinanju Stein. I know you wanted it. Maybe she likes gold. We've got a unicorn.
We probably have some female viewers, Todd, so let's keep it under control.
Well, bear guys are fun too. Well, you never know. All right, so I think that about wraps it up for this week's episode. So let's get cracking here. Now, please remember that we are brought to you by HobbyLink Japan, HLJ.com. So please remember to help buy your stuff from us to help support us. And you can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, basically all the social media sites that matter, minus Google Plus, because that's
the late great.
The late great Google Plus. Goodbye. All right, so with that said, I think we are done for this week. So thank you.
See y'all again next week, everybody, and thanks so much for watching.
Have a great
Catch you
week.
again.